right before we went to the Pueblo Youth Project, our girls were 14 and they both were wanting to date. And, you know, we had said you can't date till you're 50, you know, typical rules for a kid. And, you know, they were just fighting. You know, I got good grades, I go to school every day, I clean my room, I do my chores. Why can't I date? And so when PYP found us, you know, they got to see why. And it wasn't coming from their parents. You can't date, you can't date. It was, you know, a group of other people and girls who were in the same position that wanted to date, that then figured out they weren't ready. They weren't ready. And so for us, it was a great time for us because you guys took that off our chest, you know, and put those thoughts in their mind in your own words, not in our words, and they took that to heart. So I thought that was phenomenal, you know, and we see it now. They still wear their ring. You know, to have an abstinence ring, they're the first ones in our whole generation, you know, from 100 years back to right now that have done that. And now my grandchildren and my cousins are wanting to go to this class and do the same. So they just need a chance. They just need a choice.
There's like a lot of things I learned that I've kept with me in my relationship that if I hadn't known that stuff, I probably wouldn't have been as strong with my boyfriend as I am.
I was 18 and I'd been in jail and I'd had felony charges against me, but when I went to this camp where PYP was teaching weight training at, you know, it really opened my eyes to, you know, that I'm way better than all this stuff. I'm worth so much more than all this stuff.
Well, it's something I wish I definitely would have had when I was younger. Middle school and high school are tough times for all of us, and if I would have had something like this, then maybe I wouldn't have felt pressured to do certain things, or, you know, maybe my friends wouldn't have felt pressure to do certain things.
I know it did open up some avenues for us to be able to talk to certain kids about situations that we knew that they were in, or that they came out and said that they were in.
And, you know, like I seen, you know, everything that happened in my past, you know, like losing my virginity when I was 11 and all these different things, you know, that I was so, my mind was so just like lost. I didn't know where I was going in life. And, you know, I learned I might not know where I'm going, you know, but I can pave that path positively, and I could go somewhere, you know, that people didn't expect me to go, and do things people didn't expect me to do.
And it's been exciting. We've noticed in other students' lives that they are being more proactive in setting boundaries for themselves. We had a student just the other day say that he said he wasn't going to lie. He was approached by a couple of girls, yes. And you know, it was really cool to see how he handled that situation. You know, just setting some priorities for himself.
I had always valued abstinence, but it really helped me understand even more so why waiting is such an important thing, and it helped me cherish my purity even more.
It was just cool to see him putting some of those principles in place in his personal life.
I learned that people cared about me, you know, because I never thought people cared about me. I just thought people were out to get me in trouble. So, you know, when I finally learned that, you know, they wouldn't teach me this if they didn't care about me, because most people who didn't care about me, you know, would just be like, oh, whatever, you're gonna do whatever you want. It wasn't, you know, go do whatever you want after we teach you this, you know, but it was take what we've learned for what it's worth.
You just have to save yourself for somebody that's special, and it's important to know that you're worth something, and that other people think that you're worth something and you deserve the best.